Hi everyone. Today I decided to talk a little bit about financial management, about how to manage your money really, how to budget. It's the way I do it is a kind of an online cash envelope system. I don't do a physical cash envelope system. I do it in an Excel sheet using my bank accounts. Let's go through this. I'm addicted to watching cash envelope videos at the moment. I like it is addictive. I like watching, just handling the money, just physically putting it in specific envelopes in specific wallets. When you physically handle that money, it's just that much more precious. You take better care of your finances. I do not have credit cards. I do not feel the need to have credit cards. I do not want them. I don't really agree with having them. Even at the bank, I've been told, building your credit, it's not that it's not that important. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't have the same weight as it used to have. If your bank can see that you have a savings account, that you're saving money, that you pay your bills regularly, that there's no overdraft, that you're not delaying your payments, then your bank is fine. You'll be able to get a loan, a mortgage, whatever it is. Building your credit, at least here in Europe, I don't think it has the same weight as it has in the US, but correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about credit cards. Let's get into this. So this is an example of how I manage my money on a monthly basis. Let's say, I don't know, living here in England, let's say you're on a medium to low salary. I know this is all relative, but let's say you passed your entry-level job, you're not an administrator, you're not an assistant, you are, let's say, an executive, a coordinator, a assistant, supervisor, whatever it is. So you're in between your entry-level and your supervisory roles, you're not a team leader yet. So I've seen jobs like that go anywhere between 15 to, let's say, 22,000. So I just put a ballpark in the middle. So let's say you're on 19,000 a year, which after taxes and your pension deductions and things like that, there are online calculators to calculate that. Let's say you are pretty much taking home 1,300 net. So this is my breakdown. I do not have the cash envelopes. I do not do it physically, let's say. I do it in an Excel sheet and using my bank accounts. So it's the only way for me to track what I have, to have a visual example of the money I'm accumulating in my savings account, for example. So it is very satisfying. The more you save, the more you want to save. It's very satisfying to see that cash grow. There is interest on your savings account as well. Since I opened my savings account last year, I know, too late. But anyway, I had about, so far in a year and a half, about £200 interest. So that's just, your savings are working for you. So the way I do it is basically, I'm a color coder. I need a visual separation of how I organize my money, so to speak. So these green, everything here, that's my basics, what I need to survive every month. You can't, let's say, let's start living, that's surviving, making sure that you have a roof over your head, that you can pay for your food, that you have a phone, you need your internet. There's nothing you cannot do without internet these days. TV license, all relative. If you live alone, you need that entertainment. If you live with someone else, maybe you don't. We, for example, cancelled our Sky subscription for, if you live in America, is your usual cable. We used to pay, I'm not quite sure what we were paying, probably about 60 a month, so 30 each. Still, it was a big amount of money for us when we were only basically watching like 2 or 3 channels. That's it. From the 200 that they give you, that's all we were watching. So we decided to cancel that more than 4 years ago, I think. So we haven't had, Sky/cable in about 3 or 4 years. So, okay, let's go through the basics. Rent, let's say you pay, your rent is 600, you live with a boyfriend, with a girlfriend, you're paying half of that. Your council tax, half. Your landline, for, if you want internet, you need your landline. TV license here is about 12 or 13 pounds, isn't it, a month? So that's half. Gas, half. Water, electricity, your phone. Depends. Whenever I get a new phone, I pay about 20 or 25 a month. At the moment, I'm on my 3rd year contract, so at the moment I actually pay 10. But let's say on average, between paying 10 or paying 30 a month, let's put an average of 20. These are not my actual amounts. I'm just doing an example of how I budget and how I track my spending. Food, let's say you have about £35 a week. Obviously, your partner will have their own budgets for that. So let's say for your share of, let's say you have different schedules. Maybe you buy your food on Friday evenings. Maybe your partner buys their food 8 in the morning when they come home from a night shift. Who knows? Maybe you cannot do your shopping together. Maybe you do. Either way, your part would be, let's say here in the UK, I think it's quite feasible for one person to have about £35 a week. So that's why I put 140 a month, whether you live with someone or not. So if you live with someone else, it would be 280. If you live alone, that's your 140 right there. Transport. Personally, I do not drive. At the moment, I live quite close to work, so I walk to work. Quite lucky. First of all, for the fresh air and the exercise. Second of all, for saving the 50 or the £60 a month that you would usually need for the bus pass. I think the bus pass is anywhere between 600 and 700 and something a year. Outside of London, let's I'm not talking about London because I'm not quite sure about prices there, but I think outside of London that's a reasonable amount of money to spend on your bus pass a month. Then this is, whatever your situation is. Do you go to the gym? Do you subscribe to Netflix? Do you have any other subscriptions? Do you pay for Prime, which is about, how much is it? About 70 a year. So maybe you need, 6 a month for that. So whatever it is there. So just adapt that to your needs. So basically what I need in a month, let's say, based on these expenses, is 672. Again, if something changes, if you start spending, let's say your internet becomes cheaper, let's say, or more expensive, so that goes up to 20. Maybe you can remove, maybe a £5 from transport, maybe a £5 from food. A budget is flexible, and every month, in order to be adaptable, this is not set in stone. Make sure you're flexible with your budget. So let's say you need that as your basics every month, just to survive, just to have a roof over your head, just to have food, your phone and the internet. So given that based on your salary, that's your net that you take home every month, 1,300. You're spending 670 on your basics. Now, with the difference that you have left, that's when you divide that between the other things that you got left. How much do you want to spend on your, whatever, I call it pocket money, spending money, fun money, call it whatever you want. In my case, I spend it on shopping, going out on a dinner date, health. When I go to the dentist, it's £21. If I go to cut my hair is £40. If I need specific, piece of makeup that's finished, then, that goes into that. So that's what I spend my money on. Obviously, planners, Filofaxes as well. But there you go. Call it your spending money, your pocket money, your personal money, your fun money. For me, it's one category. I don't need to know how much I spend on makeup. It's very little, believe me. I don't need to know how much I spend on planners. That's what I've given myself every month based on the salary that I have. After that, that's your total. Your basics and your pocket money. So total per month you need $880. Let me change the color there just to make it a bit clearer. I'm not quite sure what. Right, okay. So now that you know you are spending $880 not only on the things that you need to just survive, have a roof over your head, but also on fun, it's $880. After that, based on the fact that you know you are bringing home $1,300 net, divide the money between whatever your needs are: pension, savings, emergency fund, rainy day fund, your children's university, their wedding money, whatever it is that you need in the future. Whether you're retiring, or you're sending your children to university, or you're just planning for a round the world trip, or for your savings account, whatever it is, after you've deducted your monthly expenditure, see how much you got left and where do you want the money to go. It should always go into savings. What kind of savings? It depends on your situation. In my case, these are the three categories I currently use. I opened a saves account. I put $300 every month into my savings account at the moment. This is the actual figure I put there. For holidays, I've calculated what kind of holidays I need every year, how many times I go where, and based on that, I've calculated the, your average that you would need to put there per month, so that if you go on holiday every 3 months somewhere, you have the funds there, and you're not taking from your current account, you're not scrambling for money, you're not going into overdraft, your money is there. So my current holidays are once a year with my partner. We go for a 7-day or a 10-day holiday somewhere in Europe. Once or twice a year I go to visit my friends and family, and so that's 1, 2, 3. And the fourth, it's anything. It's a city break, it's a weekend somewhere, overnight stay somewhere, visiting a friend in a different town. So basically that's a city break. So that's 4 trips a year that I currently usually take. Sometimes it's only 3, sometimes I only visit family and friends once a year instead of twice. So that's the amount that I need a month. So that's what I put every month at the moment. That's the actual amount that I put there into my holidays account. And whatever is left, I put it into I used to call it emergency fund, then rainy day fund. Nothing really applies. I just call it unbudgetables. If you have a shorter word, let me know. I really appreciate it. I don't know what else to call this, but unbudgetables, it makes sense to me. It applies. If your washing machine breaks down, if you need new sofa cushions, if I don't know, someone invites you to a wedding or to their birthday party, there's no way you can budget for these things. I do not divide my budget so extensively to know, okay, I put a tenner for presents every month, or 20 or 30, or so that's a general category that whenever something unexpected happens that you didn't plan for, or that might happen in the future. So I don't know, let's say you have let's go back to the washing machine. You have a washing machine that's 8 years old. It might break down this year, next year, 2 years from now. Start saving now. That's what this fund is there for. I don't know, our sofa in the living room at the moment is about 9 years old. It's leather, maybe we didn't take very good care of it, but it's starting to show cracks on one of the, it's a 3-seater, so on one of those seaters, if that's what I can call it, it's starting to show cracks in the leather. Now, I can either look into salvaging that leather, or we can say, you know what, we've had it for 8 years, let's keep it for another 2-3 years, and after 11 or 12 years of use we can get another sofa. Again, that's what this Unbudgetables fund is there for. I don't know, someone has a baby at work, someone's leaving party, you need, you buy them a scarf, a candle, whatever it is. That's what this fund is there for. For me, that's how I divide my money. So as you can see, that's what we came up at. That's how much you bring home. Every month, how much you need to spend, how much you need to save, how much you put for your holidays, how much is in your Unbudgetables fund. Apply this to your own situation, to whatever the case is for you. That's how I currently divide my money. Okay, so then every month on payday I put this 300 into my savings account and this 125 into my holiday. It's one account, but at the moment that bank doesn't actually have virtual wallets, so all this money goes there, 1 to 5 and 40, so let's put 40 instead of the 25 that I put here. So every month I put the 300 there into my savings account, and the 1 to 5 and the 40 into the holiday and Unbudgetable funds. If my bank had the virtual wallet system, this would be separate into the bank. At the moment it's not, it's just a total sum of £490. But because I have this Excel sheet, because I keep track of my deposits, I know how much money I've got in each virtual wallet. So here in March I booked a hotel, I bought some flights. Here I bought 4 flights, we went to Lisbon with my partner, and so on and so on. So you keep track of how much you're depositing every month, how much you're taking out. And for this year, that's how much I have at the moment left. So I know that in September I'm going to put another 1 to 5, and in October I'm going to put another 1 to 5. And if I go on holiday in October to visit my friends and family, then I'll have 365, and that's more than enough for me to, have spending money, or book a hotel, or pay for the flights, and so on. So that's how I organize the money. This here is an actual representation of my current percentages. At the moment, this is an example, these amounts. This here is the actual amount that I currently pay into my actual account from my salary. So I spend 43% on these expenses, basics and utilities. My spending money, my pocket money, this £200, whatever it is, don't forget, this is an example, yeah? So from my current actual salary, I have 17% that I dedicate to spending money, just pocket money. 26% I put into my savings account here. 11% and 2%, so 13% goes into this one, holiday and Unbudgetables. So what I hope that you take from this, there are various ways to manage your money, as long as you manage it, as long as you budget, you keep track of your spending. Please do not overspend on on non-essentials. There's so much hoarding, there's so much marketing around us. We don't need all the things we have. Believe me, we don't. Figure out what your goals are, what's the most important to you, and budget for that. How can you track this? There's cash envelopes, there's different accounts, just like I do. Excel sheets, like I do, pen and paper, in your planner, just track that. There's also everydollar.com, that's Dave Ramsey's website, as far as I'm aware. I do not use that. I do not need to track every single pound that I make. I do, because that's the system that I use, this Excel sheet, so I know the percentages. I know where every single pound goes, but I don't need to break it down so much that I need to go to a website, code every dollar. I know it must be useful for lots of people. So I'm just going through the options here. There are various apps. Your banks have apps. There are other independent apps. There's software. Whatever is easier for you, as long as you actually do it. Manage and budget, and your pockets and your future will thank you for it. Now, Dave Ramsey, if you want to look into that, he has specific percentages that he advises people to use towards their mortgage, towards their savings accounts and utilities and so on and so on. So this is how I do it. This is what applies to me. I know I could spend a lot more. I could really increase this to, 25%, but for that, this would have to go down to 18%. I do not want that. I want my savings to be a very substantial amount from my salary. The more I can save, the better. And I'm quite proud that more than a quarter of my salary I'm able to save. I know other people are able to save a lot more. Other people are not able to save that much. So at the moment, 26% is a bit of an achievement for me. Plan ahead. This breakdown, however you break down your money, however you budget, however you track it, whether it's cash envelopes or on an Excel sheet or pen and paper or software or an app, it's meant to save you headache for the future. It's meant to save you stress, unnecessary stress, because you're planning ahead. It's meant to keep you from getting into debt, hopefully. And it's meant from keeping you from overspending on unnecessary, just thousands of little pieces of, I don't know, honestly, sometimes it feels like trash. Sometimes I look around the house, it does all feel like, I just feel like throwing it out the window sometimes. I don't live alone, I live with a partner, and when I talk like this, I don't talk about my own things because I'm a bit of a minimalist. I talk about my partner's things. He can get quite, he's a bit of a shopaholic and a hoarder, so I'm really struggling with that. So there is a lot of stuff. Just take a good look around your house. There's a lot that you don't need. There's a lot of money that you've spent unnecessarily. Whether you have 3 can openers or 2, there's money lost. Whether you have 3 DVD players, some are in storage that you haven't used in the last 10 years, or just 1, again, there's unnecessary money that is just sitting there. Donate it, get rid of it, sell it for a $5 on eBay, I don't care. Clear your space, clear your mind, start keeping track of your expenses. Decide what's the most important for you. I'm telling you, the more you save, the more you want to save. You'll start saving left and right. And that's it. I don't know, am I coming off a bit judgmental at the moment? I'm not quite sure. Believe you me, my salary is not that great. I'm lucky I live with a partner, I don't live alone. If I lived alone, this would go way up. Your utilities and your rent, and it would go way up for me. So I would be able to save, let's say, a lot less. Again, this is an example. My actual percentages are right here. So I'm quite sure my, utilities, it would be 55. My spending would have to go down, let's say 5% would have to go down to 12. My savings would have to go back down, probably to about 15. Holidays even less. So let's see how much that is. %. So probably basics and utilities would be a lot more than that. So that is currently 99. So let's say I'd have 16. So if I lived alone, it would be a different picture. but the more you save, the more you want to save. Trust me, just started. Do the avalanche system, do the snowball system, whatever they call it. Start somewhere. As the saying goes, a year from now, you will wish you would have started today. Okay, I hope that helps. If you don't have Microsoft Office, just use Google. It's free, it's online. It's, you know, you'll be able to track your spending from anywhere because it's online. So whatever it is that helps you to track this, start using it, and hopefully every month you'll see, you know, you grow prouder and prouder every month just looking at your savings account, whether you're saving towards a mortgage or opening a business or your children's university, who knows. So I hope this helped you. That's it. I'll see you next week in the next video. Hopefully it's going to be next week. Okay, that's it for today. Bye bye.